All right, so there's a whole reason that we actually chose this building tonight when we were all offered. There is a good intertwining story with this building. And maybe Julian would like to start a little bit. If you know, there's a history with you and your family and your legacy, as well as Weller in this legacy. So, can you tell us a little bit about why this building is so important for our very first one?
I will give it a shot. There are pictures in the archives and in the newspaper, whatever, from back in the day, taken across the street, looking at the facade of this building where it says W.L. Weller and Sons. My grandfather, Pappy, grew up in Danville, Kentucky. His dad was a lawyer. His uncle was a lawyer. His uncle was Secretary of State, and he passed away. And his dad stepped into being the Secretary of State to replace his uncle. So Pappy obviously did not want to be a lawyer, so he said, "I'm just going to get a job." And he took his horse and buggy to Louisville and got a job with W.L. Weller and Sons. And the actual original building was a block and a half down the street on the south side of the street. And he worked there for Mr. Weller as a salesman. And this building was owned by the Bernheims, Isaac Bernheim. And you've heard that name. This is the Bernheim Distillery, Bernheim Forest, and so forth. But they were in the distilling business also. So in 1890, Pappy joined Mr. Weller in 1893. About 1896, Mr. Weller bought the building. This one burned down previously, and Mr. Bernheim bought it and just reconditioned it. And Mr. Weller bought it about 1896. So Pappy worked somewhere in here with looking at this beautiful window, which is freaking amazing. When you look at these old pictures of this place, and that window is there. It's just it's incredible. So I'm glad when they redid this place and kept all of the ambiance and the architecture around, everything you see was pretty much here back in the day. So he worked here, and Alex Farnsley was his partner, who was a salesman also. And eventually they became partners in this firm with Mr. Weller. And after Prohibition, built the distillery in Shively, just south of here in 1935, opened up Stitzel Weller Derby Day in 1935. So the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah, and this is really important if we know that this is Whiskey Row, and the whole point was really getting down here and getting as close to the Ohio River as we possibly could to get barrels on those steamboats to get this whiskey everywhere. So this was where you wanted to be in the whiskey business.
Yeah, it's amazing that it's all, of course, most rivers, obviously the city's built up, but the barrels are gravity-wise, the barrels weigh, 300 or 400 or 500 pounds. So just roll them down to the riverboat and ship them on out of here. So that's why after Prohibition, Whiskey Row kind of went away because there was things called trucks, and you could just put them on a truck and haul them all over the country, where the riverboat was, just down by the river. So that's why this was all Whiskey Row, and there are probably 40 different distillery offices on Main Street, all the way from 2 or 3 blocks that way, all the way down to say probably 7th or 9th Street.